Okay.
Okay, I'll call the meeting to order, and it's
4:04.
4:04, and we'll have the roll call, please.
Robert Tucker,
Here.
Dennis Barnum, Ignacio Alegre, Ignacio, not here. Sandy Anino,
Here.
Anthony Sandoval,
Here.
Ana Jimenez Jami, Jackie Russell Garcia,
Here.
Jorge Martinez,
Present.
Ana Patricia Curiel, Lucinda Solórzano.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, Pledge of Allegiance. Somewhere you have a flag in your offices or room. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'm going to make it short and sweet, Sandy. So, public comments. The public has the right to comment on non-agenda items at this point. Are there any public comments?
I do not have anyone.
Okay, great. We'll go on to the
Bianca,
Deborah, yeah, go
Bianca,
ahead.
if you could monitor, Ignacio says he's going to log in.
Okay, I'll
That's
keep
it.
an eye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll go on to the consent calendar. It's just excused absences. There are no excused absences, or well, there is one.
We have
correct?
two.
Two. Okay, would
Two.
you read those in for the record, please?
Dennis Barnum and Ana Patricia Curiel.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve the excused absences as mentioned?
I'll approve.
Okay, second.
I think there was an extra one in there, Dr. Anna.
Oh,
Okay.
Dr. Anna, yes, sorry
Okay,
about that.
there's three. Okay, so
Who motion? I'm sorry, I didn't see the.
This is Jackie.
Thank you, Jackie.
and the second was
I'll motion. This is Sandy.
okay. All right. So there's a second on the three excused absences. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's the end of the consent calendar. We'll move on to the business calendar. I just want to say up front, I want to say thank you to staff, Sandy, the WIB Workforce Development Board staff for the RFP process, and Sandy Anino and Jackie Russell for your assistance in pulling all this together in meeting. And so the business calendar is to recommend action, direct staff to complete the youth request for proposal, and recommend the Workforce Development Board release its request for proposal to procure youth services providers for the program years of 2024 through 2027. Is there a motion to do this?
Motion move.
Okay, Ignacio's made the first motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, and now discussion, Sandy?
Yes, so thank you to the committee. I did send it out to our 4 committee members, Bob, Jackie, Sandy, Ignacio, not forgetting anybody else, for review and edits, suggestions. And so they helped me with making various edits and updating the information. In addition to that, the city has a current new process for uploading and a specific template that we need to use. So we also had to make those specific edits. It's been 4 years since our last procurement. We are currently coming to an end of the 4-year cycle procurement this June 2023. And so we wanted to get ahead and make sure that we had plenty of time to develop, review the RFP, make any suggestions, look at what the world looks like today, and what's in demand, what jobs are in the near future that are up and rising, and be able to provide a good programs that can provide awesome success stories and great wraparound services, etc. And also base it around what we're currently looking at with our youth providers in the last 4 years, what worked, what didn't work, how we wanted to improve that so that it related to the current issues that are going on in the world today. The jobs, AI was a huge talk, looking at the population was also of interest to the committee based on the population that we've been serving. And so just to point out some of the major changes that we made to the RFP is that we thought it would be in the best interest of the youth and the overall program and funding if we move from a 1-year agreement to a 2-year agreement, which has been embedded into the RFP. So now instead of doing 1-year agreements, we're going to be doing 2-year agreements for the full force cycle, if that didn't sound more confusing. In addition to that, we still wanted to focus on our special populations, foster, emancipated, homeless, justice involved, etc. We wanted to put a huge focus on technology, AI, data analytics, data science. Our goal, and my goal, and the committee's goal is to finalize the agreement. First, take it to the Workforce Development Board in the next couple weeks. Once that's done, we will be making the final edits, which will be more cosmetic and slow. And the committee will have one last look at it before it gets released in the fall. Am I missing anything, Deborah?
When Sandy says edits, it's looking for typographical errors,
Yes.
grammar, maybe renumbering, if the numbering wasn't quite right. So it's administrative type in nature, not changing anything of substantial changes.
So
Yes.
the November 4th date for the RFP release is still the date?
Correct.
And then December 6th is the bidders conference. December 13th is the deadline to submit questions. January 10th is the deadline to submit proposal by 4 p.m. So that's a big date. January 12th through February 28th, the review of proposals approximately, and February 23rd and 24th is the applicant interviews. So do we decide on a committee to look at that, or we want to do that later?
I think we can do it later.
Okay, all right. Okay, so those are the dates. And is there any other discussion or input at this point from anybody?
The last
Questions?
thing that I did want to add is that the process for submitting the application has changed a little bit, which has been detailed in the RFP. And I will review that also with the committee. You will also see that currently right now in the RFP where they have to submit one digital version is a must, and then submit hard copies to the Workforce Development Board staff to be reviewed and included in the rating and review of the RFPs.
Okay, last call for questions or input.
Lucinda, go ahead.
So Sandy, when you talked about the 2-year sign-up period, is that just for the service providers or is that for the youth that are participating?
Great question. It is for both. So if an example would be, if we develop an agreement with one of our current providers, Orange County Conservation Corps, it would be a 2-year agreement to serve X amount of youth. If those youth the first year don't complete the services and or need extra time to complete to be successful in the program, they could get carried over into the next year. And so one of the things we did look at is to adjust the enrollments for the second year. However, the funding would be the same for the second year as the first year, depending on allocations, whether it would go up or down for the second year, but it would be 1-year agreement with each provider, 2-year agreement with each provider. Does that make sense? I'm sorry.
Yes. So my question is this, with our specialized population, they tend to move placements or they run. And so like, is there any stipulation in the RFA? So I know in the past, providers have been, the reluctancy to work with our population is because of that, non-compliance, and then they lose a spot. And so they're not able to give that to somebody else because until the ending of the cycle because it's already been taken, but they didn't finish, they can't find them. And so the fear is so if they have to carry them for a second year, are they losing that spot because of inactivity from one of our young adults?
I wouldn't say they're losing the spot. The youth, even to this, even within our 1-year contract, if they provide me a good explanation for any youth in school, out of school, homeless, foster, they're explaining to me that they're following through, doing what the youth is doing what they're supposed to do, participating. However, it's taking them longer because maybe they had a car accident, maybe there was some justice involved situation going on during the process, but now they're back on track and they're proceeding. We still accommodate them and let them carry over that particular youth into the upcoming year. However, now we're going to be a little bit more cognizant of the funding and how the services are provided, so there isn't such a rush to enroll all of the youth, but make sure that we have enough time to provide all the services to our youth. That
But that doesn't account like, so I understand that our youth might take a little bit longer to, but what if the youth drops out, the first year, like they no longer want to participate, they're no longer willing to be a part of the program? Does that service provider then lose that spot since it's carried over to the next year?
No, they don't lose a spot because the providers, let's say they get $10,000 to serve 10 youth. They're still going to have those $10,000. So let's say 2 of those 10 youth drop out of the program the first 2 months that they get enrolled. They're still going to have most of the money they were going to spend on those 2 youth. So they could easily enroll an additional 2 youth to provide the services, because not all the youth are equal. So they might not all need the same type of services, as long work experience, as many support services. And so it's an average of what it costs to serve the youth if they were to take advantage of all of the resources and opportunities they have. But I'm almost positive that not 100% of our youth use, let's say, $8,000, which is ballpark average what is spent on a youth, because of their needs or lack of needs for certain items. So if they still have the funding because a youth didn't use it up, they can enroll an extra one. We have providers that over enroll, is what we call it. And instead of enrolling their goal of 20 youth, they enroll 22 youth. So they still can enroll additional youth to make sure that they exhaust all their funding and serve as many youth as they can.
Okay.
And
If they don't use all their funding at the end of the contract year, we recapture it and then put it back into the youth pot and then re-contract that out the following year or so.
Correct.
And just a brief comment, one of our committee members, Jackie Russell, I believe worked with special needs and special ed in Santa Ana Unified. And so she's always making sure that special need and special ed is looked at in the process.
Yes, I am.
So thank you
Great
for that.
questions, Lucinda. Thank you for that.
Okay, other questions or input from anybody present? Okay, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of the of directing staff to complete the RFP, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions?
I believe
Okay.
there might be one abstention, which is Jorge.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, thank you. The motion is passed. It's the end of the business calendar. Are there any staff member comments?
No, again, thank you very much. We're excited to put this out in the fall. It is a lot of work, but it's well worth it. And I think we're going to get some great programs out of it. So thank you all. And I'm still going to reach out to my committee to do the one final look through to make sure I crossed my T's and dotted my I's. And then we should be good to go.
Great. Any other staff? Yes, Deborah.
So with today's action, this will go to the September 12th Workforce Development Board meeting for the Workforce Board to direct staff to release it as outlined in today. So you'll get one more look at it, guys, for those that are on the board.
Okay, thank you for that. I was going to ask that. Thanks for jogging my memory. Youth Council Committee member comments at this time. Okay, I'd just like to say thanks to everyone involved with this process. And it was a great collaboration. I've done this a number of years now and it gets better every time. So appreciate staff and the volunteer committee members and council and everyone else for being here. Okay. Is there any more comments? Just last call.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
just gonna,
Yeah, Jorge.
So I just want to know if you guys know about that AB 257, the Recovery Fast Act, or the Fast Recovery Act for standards for fast food and everything that's going on, the bill that just passed about 2 days ago.
Has it been signed?
No, it's in the desk.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm very familiar being the union guy. I'm very familiar. So, other questions, comments, or anything else?
I'm not familiar with if he can just give a brief synopsis or, no, I don't know.
I'm sorry, who was that?
Lucy,
Oh,
I'm not
Lucy.
familiar with the AB, the assembly bill that he was
Basi-
mentioning.
Basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jorge, that will set up a state-funded committee to oversee the goings on with fast food and to try and make sure there's more even playing field for workers. Did I get it right?
Yeah, and then it caps at $22.
Okay. All right. So
10 members.
thank you for the update on that and appreciate your advocacy. One last thing I want to say, I always am very appreciative of Social Services Administration because in my care for my mom with Alzheimer's, your staff was just amazing. So thank you on a personal note. Yeah.
One last thing, I wanted to let you know, we have open enrollment for our 2 other youth programs, the Stay Employment Program, Lucinda. Any of your youth that are interested in getting some paid work experience, we have our short-term Stay program, which is 160 to 200 hours of paid work experience at $16 an hour, surrounding employers in Santa Ana. And then also we're going to be launching our California for All, which is more long-term, up to 700 hours, $17 an hour. Definitely geared more towards career pathways going into government and nonprofit agencies within the city. So if you guys have any youth, the state program is 16 to 21 years old, and our California for All is 16 to 30 years old. Yeah, our youth are getting older.
Still need to support them. Can you send me that information, Sandy?
Absolutely.
Okay. And then I think you were sending also like Paulette. No? Does that ring a bell? She was our employment specialist. But okay, no, you can send them to me. That's fine.
Okay, I'll make sure to do it.
Thank you.
Okay. Further questions, comments from Youth Council committee members?
Ignacio, did you get to speak or?
Yeah,
I
he
just
did.
wanted to say I'm looking forward to the RIFs. I'm looking forward to working with with all the youth providers and doing this one more time. Extending the services is great, giving more opportunity to youth and fishing those with disabilities and those in foster care. So I think that I'm very appreciative to be part of the board because this is an opportunity for us to kind of really make a difference in people's lives. So I'm excited, I'm jived up, and I hope you guys are too. I know you guys are too. And I just want to convey my gratitude to this board and to you, Bob. Thank you for leading this.
Oh, and thank you, Ignacio. I follow you in a number of places on social media where you do such amazing work for disabled folks. Thank you for your advocacy. Anything else? All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
A motion to adjourn.
Okay, thank you, Jackie. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody, for your time and effort on this. Very much appreciated.
Have a great evening.
Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Everyone.
Take care.